some people have argued that the federal government would only be paying lip service to the issue of girl education if the Child Rights Act of 2003 is not domesticated in all the states in the country. So what are you doing to ensure that this is done?
You see, we have the Child Rights Act domesticated in 24 out of our 36 states. 24 now have the Child Rights Act domesticated as laws in the states. We only need 2 states to make it of general application. So we are advocating seriously to have 2 more states that will domesticate, and then it will have general application nationwide. We have been advocating. You can see that we have 24 states now have them. It's not only domestication, even implementation. I'm sure you see me going around and round and round talking to religious leaders, talking to elders and so and traditional rulers and so on. It's talking about, and parents even, is talking about implementation. If we have the law without effective implementation, it's as good as not having the law at all.
Now let's come to the Women Empowerment Program, which is enshrined in the SDG, at least in 2 different phases of the SDGs. In terms of achieving the 35% women affirmative action, what are you doing to ensure that the federal government look into this direction?
With time, it will happen in Nigeria, just like in other places that it happened. It's just creating more awareness. The He for She campaign we launched is one of the ways we want to encourage men to support us, women, so that we can have that. And of course, citing examples and a lot of advocacy. You saw what happened to that bill in the National Assembly, but we'll still go back. It means a lot of advocacy, a lot of sensitization on men especially, because it's a sensitization on men. In the National Assembly, there are more men than women. So we need to sensitize the men there. Many of them are now champions of the He for She campaign. So we'll go back to them. With time, it will happen.
You were close to making history as you would have been this substantial first female governor in Nigerian history, but you narrowly missed that. How do you feel losing that opportunity?
Well, you see, I so much believe in the will of God and destiny. And that was why I know that I won the election. Everybody knows. But God did not destine that I will be governor in 2015. I don't know if my destiny has me being governor any other time, but at least I'm happy that God gave me the opportunity, and I did that. I went that far, and everybody saw that I won. But because I was not destined to be, that was how it was, and I took it as the will of God, and I'm okay.
Now, looking up to 2019 now, that means you'll be taking another shot.
By the grace of God.
2019.
By the grace of God. Look at how many...
You're not discouraged.
How will I be discouraged, especially since I know I won?
Now, we have a scary statistics in Nigeria. 70% of Nigerian women are living below poverty line. So what are you doing to empower the Nigerian women, especially the rural folks?
We are pressing on government to establish many programs of empowerment for women, of inclusion, financial inclusion especially. Women are very enterprising. Women have a lot of skills. And you know, women are very honest. When you see a few that, do this and that, it's not normal. When you see few women that are bad, it's not normal with women to be dishonest. Women are very honest by nature.
But is there a political will for this, considering statements coming from the president saying the wife of the president, the first lady, belongs to the other room?
The first lady is his wife. It has nothing to do with his being president of Nigeria. Nobody tells you what to do with your wife in your home, Benga. Nobody tells my husband what to do with me at home. So it is a private issue. What he wants his wife to do is his choice. His wife is his wife. He is keen on supporting Nigerian women. And very soon, I have taken a proposal, and I'm sure it will be approved by the grace of God. Because Mr. President supports women. Anything I take, he supports me. for Nigerian women. We all are public officers, but we have our private lives at home. You don't know what I do with my husband or what my husband does with me when I go home. It's nobody's business.
So you also belong to the other room?
At home, yes.
Okay. We've been having series of child molestation, raping of infants. What are you doing to stop this? How can this be stopped?
What we are doing is we advise parents on what to do, not to let their children go out alone, not to send their children on errands that children should not go on, and then to report when anything happens. Because no matter how careful you are, sometimes things may happen. But if they happen and you don't report, that was what I was talking to you about, implementation of the Child Rights Act. So reporting is very important, and taking good care of your children, preventing them or stopping them from going where they shouldn't go is another thing. Discipline of your children. If you discipline your child from home, don't take anything from a stranger that you don't know. Nobody will call the child and say, come and take, and then he lowers her into a very private corner or something and rapes her. So educating the children on what to do, on what is best for you. Don't do this, don't do that, is very important. But many parents now are so busy that they don't educate their children on what is right to be done and what is not right to be done.
But we understand that due to social and societal stigma, that many of these people are silent victims. So how can they be encouraged to speak out?
That was what I told you a while ago. We do a lot of advocacy and sensitization, that if you want your child, if you want the culprit brought to book, you have to report. Because if you don't report, you ruin the life of your child forever. Because the child may even need medical attention. If you don't report, how does the child get it? The child will not get it.
Let's quickly look at the issue of early marriage. What are you doing to stem this tide?
By showing people the importance of the girl-child education, number one, because I give an example of me anywhere I go. I tell them that if my father did not allow me to go to school, I won't be minister today. Because for you to be minister, at least you need to go to at least secondary school. I went to secondary school and even beyond. I used to tell them when I go for advocacy. I said, and it does not stop me from being a mother and even grandmother or housewife. So if you're educated, and I used to tell them that I went to read law after I had my first child. And I was married after my secondary school, and that was why I didn't have VVF. So we talked to them on the health side, or on health matters. We talked to them on the importance of education. They are now coming around. And you see, the federal government is intending to do a school for married girls. So that if you finish if you allow your child to finish secondary school, the child or the girl will be mature enough, even physically, you know, to go through pregnancy and to go through childbirth, and we won't have any incident of VVF. And then she is educated. When she has her baby, the school that we are establishing, schools for married girls and women, she can go there and continue her education.
Before we wind down on this conversation now, it's important we look at violence against women, and we understand that most of these cases are domestic violence. So how can this be stopped?
We are advocating for the domestication of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. It covers that kind of thing a lot. And anywhere I go to now, I sensitize women, especially women groups, to go and advocate. I sensitize the wives of governors to help us push their husbands, wives of state houses of assembly members. So we now encourage, we sensitize and advocate for the domestication of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. So far, it was passed in 2015, 2 years ago. So far, we have got, I think, just 3 states have domesticated.
Senator Aisha Al-Hassan, Honorable Minister for Women Affairs and Social Development, thank you so much for making our time to be part of this episode of Question Time. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to tell you what we do in this ministry. Thank you very much.
And that's it on this episode of Question Time. What's your take on government intervention in addressing the plight of women in Nigeria? Send us a comment on our various social media platforms on your screen. Join us next week for a fresh episode of the show on Channels Television. Many thanks for watching. I'm Benga Ashuru. Bye for now.